Good afternoon and welcome to NMPA and the Black Press of America's Fire broadcast. Today, we have one of the most talented actors in all of Hollywood, perhaps one of the most unsung. He's been a veteran of 25 years in Hollywood, and you've seen him in The Parenthood. You've seen him a little bit everywhere. We can go on and on, one-on-one. We've seen him on Seinfeld, 21 Jump Street, Mad About You, The Drew Carey Show, Living Single, Steve Harvey Show. Well, we're going to see him here with the Black Press. He is Kelly Perine.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be on your Fire show. How do you pronounce it?
Fire, man.
Oh, Fire. Yeah, my bad, bro. My bad, man. Fire.
Oh, man. Look, you are, I think, one of the more unsung dudes out there. I mean, you've done a little bit of everything, comedy, and I'm surprised at what we have coming tomorrow on a lot of different streaming platforms, including Amazon. Is this mystery drama, this Whodunnit cast, Whodunnit show, right? Manipulated. You play a detective. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, Manipulated is a movie where I play a guy named Scott Keating. Scott Keating is a master interrogator who has put, criminals behind bars, serial killers, murderers, that type of thing. And after a personal tragedy, he gets taken out of the game, for a while to get his head straight. But when a homicide occurs, he gets brought back in by Gail O'Grady, who it was fantastic work. We'll talk about her, in order to try and find out which one of these three women is the one who killed the dead man. And so I come in to try to interrogate him and find out what happened.
What happened?
What happened? Somebody got to him, and I got to figure out who.
Now is this detective this Detective Keating, is he more a Columbo? I mean, tell us a little bit more about this detective.
Well, I can't sit here and say I put, a dash of Columbo in there, a little bit of, Inspector Clouseau. I just kind of attacked him as, someone who was interested in trying to kind of find the truth and his own truth. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to try to find my own, note to hit with this guy. And so even though I love all those different detectives, I said to myself, I want to go ahead and try to, find my own note to hit.
Yeah. And Kelly, you've played, like I said, a lot of comedy. You're just great with comedy. You're great. I mean, really great with that. You're great with a lot of things. But how do you approach these different roles? In this case, this is a serious role.
Serious role.
How do you approach it?
Well, first off, I've been blessed to do a lot of comedies. I've been blessed to do One-on-One, Drew Carey Show, Night Squad, Between Brothers, Parent. And so a lot of people do know me from the comedy because I think I've always been a class clown, always been a disruptive force in class. I wasn't like a bad kid, like I wasn't stabbing people in the bathroom. I was just disruptive, in math class because I sometimes didn't know the answer, so I had to disrupt the class.
Yeah.
So, comedy kind of, came naturally to me because I just kind of like being a class clown. I like being funny, and it kind of translated over into a lot of the sitcom stuff that I did. But I also, growing up, my dad was a professor, but he was also a community theater actor. Okay. So by the time I was 3, 4, 5, I was already on the stage. Did, drama all through high school, grad school, and undergraduate school. I went to grad school, a place called UC Irvine, where I got a master's in drama. So I was doing Shakespeare and Fugard and Brecht, and I actually did more drama probably coming up than comedies. Wow. So what I did, even when I'm going after comedy or going after something dramatic, I try to find the through line of the character, and I try to figure out how I can tell this character's truth. With the comedies, the character's truth are that, sometimes it's like there's Dwayne from One-on-One. His truth is that he's just wacky. He's just irreverent, and he'll say what's on his mind. And then you have the writers that write great stuff for it. On a role like Scott Keating, like I'm playing in Manipulated, he's troubled. He's had problems that he has had to overcome, demons that he has to keep at bay while he tries to figure out what's going on in this murder mystery. And so, we've all in life had our trials and tribulations. So sometimes you just gotta tap into some of those darker times and, bring it to the character.
Kelly, I saw an interview recently with oh gosh, her name is escaping me, but she played Levita Jenkins on the Steve Harvey Show.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, she was one of my favorite characters, and she talked about how every time she went to get a role, a certain other actress was there, and she would go there and she'd see her and say, "Oh gosh, I'm not getting this part." Have you ever gone on auditions where you just kept seeing the same folk all the time?
Well, because I've been in this industry 26, 27, 28 years, all those people are now my friends. I remember the first time I had an audition straight out of school. Because in school, I was one of the few Black kids, so I kind of, stood out, and, I got nice roles. And in grad school, they create roles for you and stuff like that. And so when I got out, I thought I was something. So I remember going to my first audition, and I walk in, and there is about 30 to 40 other chubby 5'6" Black guys in there for the role. I'm like, oh, you're all here for the same role as me. Oh, okay. Oh, and this is just the morning audition crowd. And you look around and go, oh, there's a kid from Fresh Prince. There's a guy from, Living Single. And so you kind of look around and you have to say to yourself, okay, I calm down, because, the roles that are supposed to be yours are going to come to you. You just have to do your work, be present in the moment. But yeah, there's cats that I've seen for 25, 26 years. And now we don't trip over it, because there's enough roles. There's enough things out there. You just have to keep active and keep busy. My mom always said that you will be led to that which is yours. And so I don't trip off of, seeing somebody fantastic in an audition with me, because if it's supposed to go to me, it's supposed to go to me. And if it goes to him, good, because now he's out the way. And so I got a better chance for the next one. So, you just keep plugging away. I think of myself as a journeyman actor. I've been doing this 26, 27 years, and I'm from Central Pennsylvania, and I have a Central Pennsylvania work ethic where I just put in 8 hours a day, every day. This is what I chose. I chose to be an actor. If I was a lawyer, I'd be putting 8 hours towards that. Right. If I was in banking, I'd be putting 8. I chose this. So this is just my job. This is my vocation. I put in my 8 hours, and then, then sleep for 8.
Yeah, and her name is Terry Vaughn. I don't know how that.
Okay, yeah. She's fantastic.
I love myself some Terry Vaughn, but
fantastic.
One of the things she said too, she says now when she was auditioning for the Steve Harvey Show, she said that they told her up front before she got the part what she would make, and she said it put even more pressure on her. How does that work?
Well, I mean, look, it's like anything. A lot of times when you have a job interview for whatever field you're in, they will tell you, well, this is what the job pays. But a lot of times I don't even let that kind of now I don't let it freak me out. But back in the day when they tell you can pay off your student loans if you book this,
and that was her point, right?
Trying to read, you're like, hey, I'm rooting for the roll up. You're scared because you're like them loans. The loans are waiting back there, and if you book this, you can pay some of them bad boys off.
Oh,
so,
man.
But again, at some point you kind of let that go, and you go, you know what? Again, like I keep coming back to the fact that if I'm supposed to have it, I'm supposed to have it. Doesn't matter what the dollar amount is. It's great when it's big. But even when it's not, you still have to approach it the same way. That I'm gonna be true to the character and see what happens.
Now and here I'm quoting someone else, right? Denzel Washington, he gave, I thought, from where I sit, one of the best quotes that I've heard an actor say. He was being interviewed some years ago, and he was the interviewer. And I don't want to call her name because I'm not sure it was her, but asked him or said to him, well, I'm sure you have a lot of friends, you hang out with, assuming that these were the stars that he would do movies with and TV shows with and things of that nature. And his response was, these are my coworkers. He said, I go home. He says, my family and I spend my time with my family and the people we know, our neighbors. What is that? I mean, can you speak to that too, Kelly, as to how that works in the Hollywood universe?
Well, look, I'll try to demystify some of the things that people have about what Hollywood's like, and you guys all hang out together, and you do all, like Denzel was saying, okay, these are our peers, and if we're on the set together, we'll see them, on the set, we'll do our job, we'll do our thing. but when they yell, yeah, cut, it's a wrap. You go home to your friends. You go home to a lot of my friends are friends that I know from college, from Pomona College, where I went to school, from UC Irvine, from high school. These are people that I grew up with. It's not that I came to Hollywood and I'm gonna make it and then get rid of those people. Those are the people that got your back no matter what. Yeah. Those are the people that don't care that you didn't book in 3 years. They're your friends, and they knew you before you was something. They're gonna know you after you ain't nothing. So yeah, it's not like once you make it, you now have a whole new set of friends, because those people in Hollywood, they're busy too. They're off trying to get their projects going. They're off with their families. They're off with their friends. It's really no different in that, because like I said, this is a vocation. I chose to do this, and it's really no different for me a lot of times in terms of my philosophies, in terms of putting in my time. It's no different than any other field. And the things that come along with it, having friends outside, friends that are coworkers, that's fine. But it's no different really in a lot of ways than other businesses. Although some of the people you do know, everybody in the world recognizes. That's about it.
Well, one of our viewers that are watching, we're always pleased to have one of our peers, Alma Gill. She hosts an advice show for NMPA, the Black Press, and she says that one of her favorites, you're one of her favorites. She still watches 101 because of you.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Hey, you know what? You got to check Alma's show out. And perhaps one day you can read the questions. She has people read questions.
Oh, definitely.
She has a panel that answers the questions. It's absolutely some really serious relationship questions and things. It's off the charts. It's
good. So I'm trying to find my sweet spot. There we go. But Alma, call me. I'll do it. I'll read a question.
There you go, Alma. And so, Kelly, going back to what Alma said, though, do you get a lot of that? Because one-on-one was such, no matter whether you were young or older or old, people loved that show.
They did, man. And, it's funny because, like I said, I've been in the industry 27, 28 years now. And I did that back when I was in my 20s. And so people will come up to me and go, oh, hey, man, I grew up watching you. And I still kind of feel like I'm young and stuff like that. And these kids are like in their 30s. I'm like, you grew up, and I go, I guess so. Because I have been doing this for a hot minute. And so it kind of makes me feel good that, I've been a positive part of their growing up. I'm like, I'm not your daddy, though. I ain't paying child support. but I'm glad you watched. And again, like I said, I have been blessed to have, a long career. And, I can walk down the street a lot of places and people will be like, wait, isn't that guy? And then I'll be gone. Because they don't quite, they know me, but they don't know how they know me. It's like, you go to my church. How do I know you? You owe me $20. How do I know you? And I feel fantastic about that, only because I have, some staying power. And again, with roles like Manipulated, and some of the other stuff I have coming up, because I know there'll be other fantastic comedy roles that are out there, because I'm not planning on going anywhere. That pretty soon, one day, people go, oh, that's Kelly Perine.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to go, oh, I've been, and I'll become an overnight success, even though I've been here for 30 years. But just now be able to put a name to a face. And so, like I said, I just keep doing my work. I just keep, if they give me pages to read and, a scene to do, I'm just going to do it and move on and hope that, it lands where it's supposed to land.
We are talking with the great Kelly. He plays Detective Scott Keating on Manipulated. You could see it beginning tomorrow on several outlets, including Amazon Prime.
On Demand, Vudu. It's everywhere. If you can't find it, then that's on you. Go to manipulatedmovie.com too, and it should be able to tell you where to find it.
And so, and speaking of, like you said, when you run into folks and you wonder, do they owe you $20 or you owe them $20? Again, to quote someone else, I was watching an old interview with Bernie Mac and Charles Barkley. Yeah. And it was the most hilarious interview I'd seen in this respect, that it was with Oprah Winfrey. And Bernie was talking about what happens when you get money, or when people think you got money. and he says how he'd get, his sister or brother-in-law call him up saying that they're 8 months behind on the rent. He said, well, why couldn't you call me when you was 1 day behind?
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, the thing is, me, not as much. Now, when I get the Kelly Perine show, then they're gonna come after me. I was always like, call Flex. He'll hook you up. Call Tyler. She'll hook you up. I'm number 6 on the call sheet. Why are you talking to me? Once I get the Kelly Perine show, then call me back. Until then, I'm like I said, I'm trying to pay these student loans off. But I've been blessed. One of the things I'm knock on wood was able to do was help my mom and my dad out as they got older, because that's the one thing I want to be able to do. And they're both passed, but I wanted to be able to say that honor thy mother and father, and I was able to do that. So that's where my money would have gone first, anyways, to make sure my mom and my dad, who gave me 1,000,001 opportunities, who kept telling me I can be whatever I wanted to be, to work hard, and they would call me out if I wasn't working hard enough. And a lot of times I knew I wasn't working hard enough, and they called me out on it, and they made me work harder. And so, yeah, that's where the gratitude and the cash was, went. Yeah. And so that was important to me.
And you mentioned earlier about being a journeyman, a journeyman. But where do you find that sweet spot as an actor? What is it that really excites Kelly? The agent comes, hey Kelly, I got this role, I got this role.
Right.
What is it?
I'll tell you what, when we're talking about this movie that's coming out tomorrow, like I said, in grad school and coming up, I did a lot of dramas, and sometimes you have to, really dig deep into where's the character coming from, what's their background, what are they trying to hide? Because a lot of times in drama, you have characters who have flaws, and they're trying to make sure that you don't know what they are. Right. And just those explorations of characters are things that as I get older and people, again, keep throwing the sitcom stuff at me. I love it. I will keep doing it. But, when you get a chance to do something else, to take a bite of a different fruit, like in this movie, it's nice just because it's a nice change of pace. And you have to dust off some of the old muscles that you used to have that have atrophied. You got to shake it off and go, okay, let me tell you, my job is not to, necessarily make this person laugh, is to make them think. And I'm trying to find, a connection to the other, people in the scene. So that's really, what really kind of gets me going is stuff that's well written, stuff that the characters are, 3-dimensional. Yeah. And, I got a chance to do that in this movie, and it's I think it's a great, piece of work and a great film.
And talk about the cast. It's a great cast. You mentioned earlier Gail O'Grady, and I remember her from NYPD Blue, but there's others. We
got Gail O'Grady, and I loved her on NYPD Blue. Chase Masterson, who was in Deep Space Nine. Heather McComb, who's on Ray Donovan. Tracy Lords, who's fantastic. Michael Perine, who's been in everything. Judy Landers from Knight Rider. Yeah, Greg Evigan from BJ and the Bear.
Yeah, from BJ. I'm like,
you got BJ? Can you get the bear? Can you? No? Okay, but go. You got BJ. John Delancey. And so when the director, Matt Berman, said who's in this movie, it was like a who's who of people that I had watched growing up. And coming up. And It was in some ways like a masterclass, because I go, okay, if I'm carrying this, I have to raise my game. Right. I have to make sure that, these folks who are heavy hitters, they're coming in, and I better be ready. I better be prepared. I better have my choices made and roll the camera.
Yeah, and you work with a lot of folks: Drew Carey, Jerry Seinfeld, Steve Harvey, of course, Flex, even Bernie Mac. Is there a piece of these guys that you take with you into your act, into your character what do you draw from them?
Well, again, I don't know if I necessarily take anything per se, but I'm very aware and perceptive of the energies that they bring, and all the people that you've talked about really kind of bring a different kind of focus and energy. And so it's not necessarily that I steal it from them; it's that I try to match it. You know what I'm saying? Because the energy that Drew Carey's going to bring is different than the energy that Flavor Flav is going to bring, which is different than Gail O'Grady is going to bring. Mm-hmm. So again, it's a lot of it is matching energies and matching focus and making sure that in the tennis match that is the scene that you always get the ball back over the net and give them something to work with.
Yeah.
And so, but again, sometimes, I had the pleasure of working one day with Robin Williams, and, just to kind of watch his mind work and how quickly he worked. And the thing I've learned about, acting in this industry is that there's film in the camera, there's tape. So if you mess up, so what? There's another take coming. Yeah. So they say I believe there's no such thing as a wrong choice. There are weak choices, but if it's justified, it might not be what the director wants, and he'll let you know when you do something different the next scene or the next take. But as long as it's justified, it can't be wrong. Right. They may want something different, but it can't be wrong. And so I think you got to get to a point where you trust your decisions, you trust your choices, and then I always say it's like having arrows in the quiver. I'm like, what do you want? Oh, coach, you need 2 points. You want me to drive it and lay it up? Do you want me to drive and dish? You want me to try to get the foul? Let me know. I've tried to train myself, and that's why it was important for me to go to school and get training, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't trying to fake it till I made it. I was trying to know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
So.
And we talked about the cast of Manipulated being such a great cast. How does that affect your performance when you have such a great cast around you?
Well, again, I think that whatever project it is, whatever cast you're in, I personally try to, be professional, show up on time, be prepared. That's now, again, when you have all-stars, when you're playing in the all-star game, you better stretch a few minutes more before tip off. Again, you can't just come in late on your phone doing your. You better stay focused and stay prepared, because you don't want to waste their time, because they have taken the time to perfect their craft. That you don't want to be wasting their time.
Right.
So, and the way you don't waste their time or your time is preparation. Is knowing your scene. See, it's funny. A lot of times people ask me, "Hey, I want to be an actor," and I go, "That's fantastic." And I go, "Well, are you good?"
Mm-hmm.
They say, "What?" I go, "You said you want to be an actor. I'm asking you, are you good at what it is you say you want to be?" Because to me, this is a vocation. Like I said, and I wanted to be good at what I chose to do as a career. And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people, because there are no barriers to entry to get into acting or writing or producing, people just go, "Oh, I'm an actor, I'm a writer." And they really haven't done the work to truly call themselves that. People think I did stand up. You're funny, you do stand up. I did stand up for a hot second, because it's a very different tool. Being on stage, doing that monologue, it's a very different tool than it is sometimes doing a scene. And so I figured out very early that is not a skill set that I have. I go, I'm funny in my way. I'm funny on, when I have a script and stuff like that, and when we're bantering like this, but that's a very different muscle. And I go, you know what? I want to get out of the way of people who know what they're doing when they're doing stand-up. It's not just enough to be funny. It's like you have to hone your craft. That's a vocation. And so my advice to anybody out there that wants to be an actor is get good. Yeah. Do plays. Take classes. Take the criticism. And get good. Don't try to just get by.
Right.
Or not get found out.
And I think that's so important too. And it segues nicely into what I'm going to ask you, is that, a lot of people on the outside think of actors and they think of, oh gosh, they're making all this money or whatever. But what is it that, put the money aside, what is
No,
it?
bring it back. I got a mortgage to pay. Don't put that money aside. Put it right here. Because like I said, Bank of America just called.
What is it?
I know what you're saying. Go on.
What is it? What is it that you what are you reaching for when you are on that stage or when the lights go on and the cameras are on? What are you reaching for?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess, when the cameras go up, the lights go on, whether you're not on a stage, you're looking, you're looking for your truth. Because you could have chosen to be anything. I could have chosen to do whatever, and I would have expected to succeed because that's just what my parents told me to do. And so when I chose this, I chose it because I had a calling to do it. Sometimes I feel like the movie Officer and a Gentleman, like I got no place else to go. I gotta do. This is my truth, man. This is what I do. I'm not good at numbers. I couldn't be an accountant. This is what I do. So when the camera rolls and the lights go up, that's my truth. That's me trying to bring to life a character. That's me trying to infuse who I am into something that somebody else has written. And that's the beauty of what we do. And that's why I was a calling, because it's a collaborative. I love people. And, I look around and I see the genius of the writers that have created these characters, the genius of the lighting people that light this beautiful scene, the people that, build the sets, the people of the mind of the director who's trying to make this dance flow. I feel blessed to be part of the ballet that is this industry. And so when I'm on stage and it's my turn to do my part and come out and, do my little pirouette in the ballet, then, that's my truth. That's what I'm going for. That's what I always strive for, is that be it comedy or drama, they watch what I do and go, oh, okay, yeah, I believe that.
We got a couple of moments left. Let me ask you two quick things. First, what else is coming up for Kelly Perine? What can we expect?
Well, you know what? Knock on wood, the director, Matt Berman, he has a sequel to the movie, The Wedding Pact, that we did called The Baby Pact that I'm going to be shooting. I actually just finished writing a script based on the January 6th insurrection. And so I wrote a TV pilot that I'm about to start, shopping around. If you go to kellyperine.com, you can see a number of my short films, and I'm turning a number of those films into features. So, I'm throwing a lot of stuff up against the wall and just loving the creative process. I've been, the pandemic has been tough for everybody, but I've used this opportunity to write, to try to keep creating. Because once the gate goes up, I'm running out there. I'm running to get it.
And Kelly, finally, we brought you on to talk about Manipulated. Give everybody a little bit more insight on what to expect. Obviously, you can't give it away, but give us a little bit more insight.
Okay, I don't want to give it away, but at the end, you find out I've been dead the whole time. No, wait, that's Sixth Sense. My bad. I'm trying to. My bad. Here's the beauty about the movie is that if you listen carefully and you watch closely, there's enough clues in there for you to see what's going on. Matt wrote a fantastic script, nice and tight, and he wrote 3 strong women as the leads, which is fantastic, and brought in a black guy to be the main lead. So I mean, I tip my hat to Matt Berman for doing that. It's a taut whodunit in the style of Hitchcock, like the Rope. Mysteries where you have to sit there and try to figure it out. I call this movie a run it back movie, because how you're playing pickup ball and the game's over. You're like, let's run it back. Let's run it back. Yep. This one you got, you'll say let's run it back because I missed something, and there it is. So you need to watch it maybe 2 or 3 times, and you'll see that the dots are placed close enough that you can connect them, but not too far apart that you can't figure it out. Wow. So
it sounds like a can't miss. I certainly will be watching. I hope everybody else will be watching. But check out kellyperine.com too. We really appreciate it, Kelly. Manipulated is the name of the movie.
Manipulated
tomorrow. Check it out and keep checking this guy out. I will. And thanks for joining us. Everybody stay safe, stay well. Thanks so much. they'll take us off at some point.
Okay, no worries.